I realized after that, that was like what changed my whole life. Instead of being a people pleaser and separating myself, I had no real emotional connection with people. Even my husband, he was my husband, and I was there to obey what he told me to do because that's what wives are supposed to do. But I had no sense of self. If he asked me what I wanted, I didn't know because I didn't understand what a want was. But after this, I now knew that what it was like to have someone take an interest in who I was as a person. And that, so this is where um,
Hi, I'm Staci Neustadt. I am a speech language pathologist and the CEO at Making Sense of Autism, and I'm a student of Susan.
and I'm Susan Golubock. I am a now retired occupational therapist who has worked many, many years after I discovered even my own autism with other autistic individuals. I founded Making Sense of Autism because of my passion to not only understand my brain and how it worked differently, but to try to explain what I've learned to other people so that they're more understanding and therefore more accepting and more accommodating to autistic individuals.
So, our goal is to help you provide the right support without trying to fix autism, but by understanding it. So, whether you're a parent, teacher, therapist, or just someone who wants to learn, you're in the right place. Be sure to subscribe and join us every week. We talk about a new topic. Thank you for being here today with Making Sense of Autism and taking the time to better understand autistic individuals. If our conversation today resonates with you, make sure to subscribe and follow us. We share a weekly newsletter with freebies and ideas that you can implement right away. Be sure to sign up on our website, www.makingsenseofautism.com. One of the biggest things autistic individuals need from you, from me, from parents, from therapists isn't more correction or teaching, but someone truly noticing them. So many autistic individuals grow up being told what to stop doing, what to fix, how to act. But self-awareness often starts somewhere much simpler. Someone genuinely taking interest in who they are, noticing what they seek to do, what calms them, what excites them, what overwhelms them, what patterns they repeat, or what they try to communicate without words. When we slow down and get curious instead of correcting, we help build that sense of, I matter. My experience makes sense. There's a reason I do this, or someone sees me. That's where self-awareness begins. And self-awareness is that foundation to self-advocacy, to social connection, and to regulation. I'm going to share today our visual that we have that actually goes along with our soft skills assessment. And you can see if you are working on or assessing social communication, pragmatic skills, see how this is up here in the middle? If the individuals we're supporting don't have that self-awareness, don't have that self-acceptance, those social communication skills might not be showing up on the playground or in the classroom. So, Sue, you are about to have your 80th birthday. Happy early birthday.
Thank you.
And you have taught yourself social communication. But how old were you before you got there? Because you didn't have that self-awareness because you were a people pleaser. You fawned for all your life. How did you do it?
Well, I'll tell you, um, I I liked myself initially. I mean, I liked doing what I enjoyed doing, and but it was only because the only social feedback or praise that I ever received from other people was when I did things like them. I said or acted or whatever it is, or met their expectations. I would get all this social praise about what a good girl I was. But never did anyone take an interest in how I was different. They wouldn't even talk about it. It was like it was shameful. So my response to it was, okay, I like myself when I'm by myself, but in the presence of other people, I hated myself because I always seemed to be corrected, and I never seemed to be given any positive feedback for the person I liked in me. Um, and so I shifted from focusing on myself to focusing on other people, meeting their expectations because it was the fastest way to get rid of them so I could be by myself and enjoy myself, being myself. It wasn't until I was, oh gosh, I was in my 50s. Well, this was before I discovered autism. Well, no, actually, it had to be after. You're right. Because I had someone knock on my door and they were taking a class and they knew a friend of mine. And their assignment was to find someone who has an interesting story to tell about themselves. And basically, I think it was a class like on perspective taking, seeing something from someone else who has very different perspective. And she wanted to know, your friend suggested you would be a good person to interview. May I do so? I mean, here was someone asking to interview me as a person and from my perspective. So, sure. I realized after that, that was like what changed my whole life. Instead of being a people pleaser and separating myself, I had no real emotional connection with people. Even my husband, he was my husband, and I was there to obey what he told me to do because that's what wives are supposed to do. But I had no sense of self. If he asked me what I wanted, I didn't know because I didn't understand what a want was. But after this, I now knew that what it was like to have someone take an interest in who I was as a person. And that, so this is where, now that I'm having my 80th birthday party, a dear friend of mine who did take an interest in who I was because autism and ADHD run in her family, so we had that in common. Her children adopted me after she passed away, and now are insisting on having and honoring me with this party. Now, I generally hate parties because there's crowds of people and noise and but I want it because they are celebrating me, who I am, because they value my perspective on life. And yes, are they ADHD and or autistic themselves? Yes. But what they've shown me is a reflection of myself that is positive instead of negative. And it makes me feel good. It makes me want to have this party because they want it for me. I mean, I've never experienced that emotion in my life. Um, and that's how I feel. Those are my close friends. I have lots of surface friends, people I do things with and talk about things with, but not on a personal level if they're not interested in me and my perspective. This is the self-awareness that leads to a desire for communication, an interest in making connections with other people and getting to know them and their perspective, rather than self-focused and over talking about my interests and totally ignoring other people. Um, uh, yeah, That is the key to the shift, is my self-awareness and my limitations. Okay, I can't always do everything because motor coordination is an issue. Self-regulation. Well, when I have all these negative feelings about myself in the presence of other people, yeah, I can blow up really easily. Those kinds of things, because I don't feel understood, or that they will understand if I do seek help from them. So, no, like most autistics, we will not seek help from other people. That we don't have the social connections or the desire to communicate. Small talk is a waste of our time because we don't understand the value and purpose of it. So all of those middle skills are dependent on those bottom of the triangle skills. Once I have them, now I can value and appreciate and want to learn about the other skills.
And you mentioned you were a people pleaser, so you just went along, but then you also just mentioned those other people that are more self-focused and they might explode or only see their perspective and not have that self-awareness of how their reactions are impacting other people, which then again impacts that
Mhm.
social communication. So even if you have a different personality type that is more of a fight, if you don't have that self-awareness, it's going to impact social communication. And
Absolutely, because they don't care about the other person. They are so fighting for themselves and to maintain that sense of self that they have, that they like. And if you don't like me, that my younger sister chose that path. If you don't like me, I don't want you in my life.
Mhm.
And so, of course, they're not going to develop social connection skills. They're not going to want to do social communication. So, why are you teaching them whether we choose the route of fawning or fighting as a survival strategy? Um, you can teach us, but we're not going to use it because it doesn't mean anything to us because we haven't experienced it on an emotional level of wanting to learn to do these things and seeing the value and what we get in return as a result of it.
And I want to know the good emotional, because I think what happens with both people who fawn and who fight, there's shame, right? They're both shamed,
Uh-huh,
shamed for or taken advantage of for fawning
uh-huh,
or shamed for the fight. And both
uh-huh,
of those just continue to go down a negative rabbit hole.
uh-huh.
But if those of us that are interacting and as therapists working with these individuals, instead of pointing out their deficits, instead of shaming them for their behavior, their beliefs, us getting curious and taking interest. So if they're quote unquote manipulative or behavioral, asking them, hey, what's going on? And getting curious about those emotions that they're having. Or if they're fawning, again, getting curious about who they are. Like you just said, it felt so good for you for someone to take interest in you instead of just keep mowing over you because you fawned.
Mhm.
So the strategies and what we can do, and this might even be resonate with all of you. This is not just an autistic thing, this is a human thing, because we all have these nervous system reactions of fight, freeze, fawn, and flight. But for autistic individuals who already experience the world so differently, feel this even deeper because they feel even more understood. And really, this again, neurodivergence, right? Like ADHD, I definitely felt misunderstood. We all feel really misunderstood with the people around us. And so, just taking a moment, taking that time to understand their perspective is going to be so meaningful, so powerful, and nothing we've ever been taught, right? Like we are taught these rigid, oh, we're going to do a perspective taking activity. What are they thinking? that is not going to get anywhere. You might get some rote memorization. If you truly want to tap into perspective taking and teaching them, quote unquote, social skills, we have to start at that self awareness, which is where our soft skills assessment comes in, where you have to see, is that a barrier? Is that developed, that sense of self? Because if it's not, you're not working in that middle part of the triangle. You cannot start working on social skills. You have to work on that self awareness. And it is those simple things of even sharing yourself and seeing,
Right.
do we have these similarities? Um, these, this is why I feel like so many therapists or teachers or parents get stuck or often say, they know what to say, they know these social skills, but they're not doing it. And this is why, because that self-awareness isn't there of, oh, do I do it in this moment? Am I aware of who I am? Am I off-putting to these people because I'm complaining all the time, or I'm putting them down, or making them feel a certain way? And again, these are all human skills.
Mhm.
So important. So little things you can take away from today, like Sue talked about that moment of feeling seen just because someone listened to her. Take today and just listen. Get curious about your clients. Just listen, just observe. Even your kiddos who are non-speaking, how are they trying to socialize with you? Because I guarantee they do. It might look like snuggling up. It might look like just trying to interact with you with a gestalt that they say over and over again, a phrase that they say or a word that they say, just to get and looking for that interaction. So this happens across support levels. So please just do that today. Just listen, take a moment to hear what the clients and students and children that you're working with have to say. It'll be so powerful with how they feel about themselves.
And a special note about the non-speaking kids, because they can't respond when you're getting curious about them. They can't tell you. And so use your observation skills to say, I noticed, as Staci mentioned, I noticed that you do this to, and I'm curious. I want to try it. I want to see what it is you're experiencing. And they're going to be like, oh wow, that's taking an interest in me, and you want to understand what I'm experiencing when I line all my trucks up. Um, because you're going to do it. And now I'm taking an interest in you because you took an interest in me. So, yeah, it doesn't have to be that they verbally express themselves. You observe, take an interest in what they're doing, and show by mimicking them and saying, I'm curious, I want to try it. Can I have a turn? Let me do it. And then finding out, what do you think? Uh, and they'll correct you if they think you're not doing it the way they think makes sense to them. Oh, did I line that up wrong? Oh, I see now the pattern. I I put all the red cars in a row because that made sense to me. But you do red, blue, yellow. Okay, I see it now. You see how you are seeing things from their eyes by engaging yourself, and doing and mimicking them.
And how easy is that? You don't need to create a fancy plan or lesson plan. Take an interest in them, and they will take an interest in you. So easy, but we don't think
Mhm.
about that. So try that today. Take an interest in them, and they will take an interest in you. Again, be sure to follow us because we put out videos like this every week, and we'd love to hear from you. What happened when you took interest in them? Did they take interest in you? Come back and drop a comment, and we will see you next week. Thanks, Sue.
Thanks, Staci.